In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Cisco dCloud to build viral topologies with Cisco ASAs. And you can do all of it for free. I was surprised when I saw what's available on Cisco dCloud. You can build viral networks using Cisco IOSv routers, Cisco IOSv Layer 2 switches, and ASAs. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can reserve a Cisco VIRL lab using Cisco dCloud. I'm going to show you how to build a topology with Cisco ASAs and how to set up connectivity between multiple ASAs. The great thing here is that you don't need any software. You just need your web browser. We're going to build a Cisco ASAv network using Cisco VIRL running on Cisco infrastructure in the cloud for free using only our web browsers. So to do this, you need to browse to dcloud.cisco.com and click Login. If you don't have an account on Cisco's website, click Register Now. That'll take you to the main Cisco website and you'll be able to register for a free account. This is free. You don't have to pay to access these resources. I've already got an account, so I'm going to click Login to Cisco dCloud. The first thing you need to do is select a data center. In my example, I'm based in the UK, so I'm going to select EMEA, but not save my preferences. Sometimes on Cisco dCloud, if resources are used up on one data center, you could select another data center and get access to resources. So try and select a data center that's close to you, but if it's full or there's no availability, then choose another data center. Now I'm going to select Find Content. Now this is important. You need to select the right lab. I'm going to select or type Cisco Ethernet over GRE. So make sure that you choose this lab, Cisco Ethernet over GRE Tunnels V1. Now, there may be other topologies in Cisco dCloud that allow you to use Cisco VIRL with Cisco ASA images. In other videos, I've shown you how to reserve and use Cisco VIRL for CCNA studies. You could also use this topology for CCNA studies. But I had comments on the previous videos where guys were saying that they couldn't get Cisco ASAs working. So if you log into a topology and there's no Cisco VIRL Maestro interface available or ASAs don't work, then you need to choose a different topology on Cisco dCloud. But what I'm going to do here is click Schedule to schedule this lab. I'm going to schedule it for a few hours and then I'm going to click Next. Now you can adjust the scheduling hours, but for now I'm just going to select those hours. I'm going to select that my primary use is training and there's no revenue impact. I'm going to click Schedule. Now this has been scheduled, but what you could do is click Edit here and I'm going to select Now so that it's scheduled quicker. I don't want to wait the 3 minutes. If the lab's available, you'll be able to update the session. But if it's not available, you won't be able to do that. So that's been done. It's scheduled for 11:57 a.m., ends at 6 tonight. You can, as an example, edit the end date. That's not always available. So you may not be able to change the end date. I could, as an example, extend it by an hour and a half and click Update. So session is now from 11:57 to 17:30 this evening. Now it's scheduled. What that'll do is change to starting, as you can see over there. And once the lab is available, I'll be able to view the lab. It's not available at the moment. The lab is starting up. So you simply need to wait a few minutes for the lab to be started up. You can refresh the page, but it should automatically update to show you that the lab is available. So what I'm going to do is pause the video now while I wait for the lab to start up. Okay, so after a while, the status will change to view. So I'm going to click on view. And now I can see my lab. There's a VIRL server that has no credentials. There's a workstation that I can access. Username is shown here. Password is shown here. I don't actually need that. I can simply click on remote desktop to access the workstation. Notice how much time I've got left in this lab. It's counting down to 0, but I've got a lot of time. So I'm going to click remote desktop. That opens another browser tab, and I'm automatically logged in to a Windows computer. This is a Windows 7 computer that's running within Cisco dCloud. So again, I'm automatically logged in using a web browser. I'm going to click on VM Maestro. This is going to start the VIRL VM Maestro software and allow me to interact with the VIRL server. So going back to my topology, I'm connecting to this workstation. It's going to connect to the VIRL server, all running within Cisco dCloud. Okay, so VIRL has started up. I see a topology here, but that's not the topology that I want to use. I want to create a different topology. So on my topologies, I'm going to click New Topology. And I'm going to call this ASAv and click Finish. So I've now got an ASAv topology set up. What I'll do now is click on Design. And notice I've got a list of devices. I'm going to select ASA and then click in the topology and click in the topology again. That adds 2 ASAs to my topology running within Cisco VIRL. If I scroll down, notice there are multiple devices here. So a lot of devices available in this VIRL setup, but I'm simply going to choose IOSv and add 2 IOSv devices to the topology. I'm going to click Connect, select the first ASA, and select the second ASA. So they are now connected to each other on Gigabit Ethernet 00. I'll zoom in here so that it's clearer, rather than zooming in on the recording. And what I'll do now is select the IOSv router and select the first ASA, select the second ASA, and select the second IOSv router. So I now have my topology, which consists of 2 routers and 2 ASAs. Notice they're connected by Gigabit Ethernet 01. The ASAs are connected via Gigabit Ethernet 00. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click Start to launch the simulation. I'm told that the topology editor contains unsaved changes. Click OK to save the changes. I'm going to click OK to do that and launch the simulation. I'm going to click Simulation. And what I'll do here is actually maximize it. So there's my ASA topology. On the right-hand side, I can see that the ASAs are booting up. So ASAv V2 is now building. The other devices are absent. You need to wait for those devices to change state to active. Once they're active, you'll be able to access the devices. Okay, so first ASA is active, second ASA is active, first router is active. I'm just waiting for the second router to go active. I'm going to click ASAv. This is the topology name. And now that they're all active, I'm going to right-click and click Telnet to the 4 available console ports. So I've got a console here, console here, console here, and console there. It's not very neat, so let's drag some consoles into the same window. So I'll drag the 3 consoles into the same window here. So I'm going to also order them logically. So IOSv, first device, ASAv is the second device on the left, and then I've got ASA2. So IOSv 1, ASAv 1, ASAv 2, and IOSv 2. Now you can change the font by going to File, Preferences, and under General, click on Appearance, Colors and Fonts, click on Terminal Console Font, click Edit, and as an example, I'm going to make it a lot bigger. I'm going to make it 16 bold to make it a lot easier to see. What I'll do as well is maximize this window so that we can see the different devices. So here's the first router, here's the first ASA, here's the second ASA, and here is the second router. So as you can see, I've now got a Cisco router, I've got an ASA, so I can log in, simply type show version. You can see that this is ASA version 9.5. So they are my two ASAs and my routers. What I'll do is name the first router. So hostname router 1. Then I'll name the ASA. So host name ASA 1. Second ASA, host name ASA 2, and then the second router, host name router 2. I'll make this window slightly smaller in case, so it's not being hidden at the bottom here. But notice there's router 1, there's ASA 1, there's ASA 2, and there's router 2. So my devices are now named. Now what I need to do is add a configuration to the ASAs and the routers. Now to do that, I'm going to show you another trick in Cisco dCloud. If you want to copy configs to Cisco dCloud, it's a two-step process. So I'll show you how to do that now, how to basically copy a config to the remote ASA or to the router. So here I have configurations for the first ASA, second ASA, router 1, and router 2. It's a simple configuration. I'm going to make gigabit 00 the outside interface, which is correct per our topology. So I'll make this smaller. Notice gigabit 00 on the ASAs is the outside topology. Now this program that I'm using here is Sublime Text. It's basically a text editor. This is running locally on my Mac. I need to get this configuration to the remote ASAs and remote routers. But before I show you that, notice again, gigabit 00 is the outside interface, security level is 0, IP address that I'm going to configure is that, and I'm going to no shut the interface. Now I'll add these configurations below the video or attach it to the video depending on where you watch this. So either look below this video or look on the attachments to see if you can access the configurations. Gigabit 01, so this interface on the ASA is going to be the inside interface. Security level is going to be 100. So this is the outside non-trusted interface. This is the inside trusted interface. This is the IP address, no shut it. This is a simple topology, so I've got a static route on the ASA pointing to ASA2, and then I've got my objects. So I'm going to allow for dynamic NAT, and then I've got my policies. Notice I'm inspecting ICMP because I want to send ICMP through the ASA. ASA2 is essentially the same configuration. All I've done is change the IP addresses on the ASA and change the default route. On the routers, very simple configuration. Got an IP address plus default gateway which is the ASAs. So let's start with ASA 1. What I'll do is select the configuration and copy it. Now in my web browser, there's a special trick here. You need to press Ctrl-Alt-Shift at the same time, and then you get this little window and you can paste the configuration in. That is essentially allowing you to copy the configuration to the remote dCloud server. And now on the ASA, when I click paste, it's pasting that configuration in. Second ASA. So I'll copy this configuration from my local Mac, and in my web browser, Ctrl-Alt-Shift. That's the old configuration, so I'll remove that and paste in the new configuration. Ctrl-Alt-Shift to remove the menu. Right-click here and click Paste to paste the configuration into the ASA. Same process now with the routers. So here's router 1. I'll copy the configuration, go to router 1, and press Ctrl-Alt-Shift. Remove the text, paste the new configuration in, right-click here, and click Paste to paste it in. I didn't need conft because I was already in global config mode, but that still works. Here's IOSv router 2. Get my config from my Mac. Ctrl-Alt-Shift. Paste the configuration in, and now I can right-click to paste the configuration into the router. So, at this point, hopefully ASA 1 can ping ASA 2. So ping 8882, ping succeed. So the two ASAs can ping each other. Can the routers ping through the ASAs? So on router 2, can it ping ASA 1? Yes, it can. So notice it can ping the local ASA. And again, I'll just make that smaller. So it can ping 10.1.2.254, which is the IP address of ASA 2. You could see that as an example over there. There's the configuration of the outside interface. There's the configuration of the inside interface. And it can ping ASA 1. Router 1 should be able to do the same thing. So can it ping ASA 1? Yes, it can. Can it ping ASA 2? Yes, it can. Now, this is a simple example of a topology running in Cisco dCloud. I've shown you in this video how to get access to a free lab running on Cisco dCloud. So under my hub, you can see the lab that I reserved. All I did was search for the lab in the catalog, reserve it, and then click View to access the workstation that's part of the lab. And then I used VM Maestro to configure VIRL with this topology. And then I used Cisco IOSv routers and Cisco ASAs and configured a network. And as you can see, it's working. So this is, I think, a fantastic resource. Again, it's free. You don't have to pay for access to this. Now, a question that I've had from people, how do I build bigger topologies? I've only added 4 devices here, but this lab actually allows you to add many devices. So I could add some IOSv routers here, and then I could add a switch as an example. So this lab in dCloud actually supports lots of devices, which is fantastic. So I could connect one switch to another. This is obviously not a great topology. I'm just showing you the fact that I can have multiple devices in my topology. And when I click Start, I can save my topology. And then I can go to simulation mode. And what you'll notice is the devices will start up. So I still have access, notice, to router 1. I still have access to ASA 1, still have access to ASA 2, and I still have access to router 2. I just need to wait now for the other devices to start up in the topology. Notice you can see the ASAs have come up, IOSv, the layer 2 is now up. So as an example, in my topology, I can now access the switch. So I could right-click Telnet, connect to the console, and notice I've now connected to the console of the switch. Now it's going to take time to boot up, so I need to wait for it to boot up. But here is my IOSv switch. So there you go. Notice the switch is booted. Show version will allow me to see the version of the switch. As you can see there, it's VIOS Advanced Enterprises K9 15.2. Show IP interface brief allows me to see the interfaces on the switch. So gigabit 0001 and 02. Same thing, I could connect to the second switch. Drag it here just so that I've got them all together. So here's IOSv layer 2, switch 2. So just to prove the point, notice this is switch 2 rather, and this is switch 1. So hostname switch 1. So fantastic topology. You could build large topologies here using this lab. The original lab that they have looks like this, but notice I've built my own topology using Cisco VIRL. You could use this, for example, for CCNA studies as well as CCNA Security studies. Fantastic that we have these resources now available for free. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. That really helps me. And please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. That really does make a difference. I'm David Bombal. As always, I want to wish you all the very best.